wiggle to start all your lives?
Yeah, you gotta wiggle. Get the energy pumping.
You gotta get feeling good somehow, Sarah.
Oh no, you're frozen.
No! I think Sarah's frozen. Uh-oh. I think sometimes we overwhelm her iPad. But she'll be back soon. Don't worry, folks.
So apparently if I wiggle, it throws the internet into chaos.
Luckily, I think StreamYard keeps us going. And so anytime you freeze, I just keep chatting. So you don't have to
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't know if you remember the first time we went live. You like left the stream, I think.
Yeah.
Because I remember.
Yeah, my StreamYard just has it's really fickle sometimes. I don't know why, because I have really good internet, but I don't know what the deal is. So yeah, anytime you lose me, just keep on going.
Oh, well, that's fine. We'll just...
Oh my goodness. Hi, everybody. Welcome in. So many familiar faces. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
We have to talk about yesterday for a minute.
Uh-oh.
Just for a minute.
Okay.
So I assume that you have recovered.
Oh, I was thriving after yesterday.
Wonderful. So I am still a little bit sad about the spider, but I mean.
Oh, you mean like for the spot, like the spider, like as a person?
Well, I mean, I had here's how it works in my head. So I'm like sad that the spider, like, okay, first of all, I don't like spiders. I'm not like terrified of spiders, but I don't like spiders. However, I feel like the bigger the spider is, the more personality, I guess, it has. And so the more kind of like pet territory it kind of falls into. And I just had this like overwhelming feeling that like I was eating someone's potential pet, and I was like, but I also like cows and I do love steak. So to kind of justify it in my head that way.
Yeah, I think that's okay. I don't like spiders, so I'm not even gonna give. I don't have the capacity for that one right at this moment anyway.
Fair enough. I'm actually about to move into the country, and I'm kind of afraid of like this whole spider bug potential scenario that could be coming this summer. I'm a little worried. So I'll keep you posted on how I actually feel about spiders once I get moved.
I really wish you luck on that one. Are you packing up your bead office, Sarah?
I am packing up my bead office, and it's a challenge because I have to leave certain things out in order to continue business. But this room also contains my Cricut, all my craft stuff, my paper stuff, my Halloween stuff, my, just any kind of craft and art thing that you could possibly think of is also in this room. And so those are the things that I'm packing first. But I'm finding it very difficult to just pack them without thinking through and like organizing and cleaning out and downsizing, which I think ultimately will be a good thing. But in the midst of it, it means that there's like this much room to walk and there's just chaos everywhere. So it's hard.
You should see my office right now. We started our like big reorganization yesterday after the live because we're getting some like new shelving.
I saw those. Those are fantastic.
Oh my God, they're going to be amazing.
Yeah.
But like I basically I moved a whole wall of stuff to one section, and then I was like, whoa, there's clear space. But then I have to go through all that stuff now.
Yeah.
And that's overwhelming.
Oh yeah. I can't even begin to imagine going through your stuff. Like, I think this room is bad, but I've seen your warehouse stuff. Like, whoa.
Because the beads in the shop are very organized, and like that side of the room is beautiful to me. And like the bead box side is like there's into that. But then there's all the beads that kind of have just like accumulated.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, I don't like that. So I'm like, I have this, I call it the graveyard. I just put it on the shelf.
Yeah.
I can't sell that. Or you've seen some of the things that are like my like reject pile.
Yeah.
And then like I had plans to eventually do something with those things, but like, you know, there's other beads that get in the way and other things that get in the way.
Yeah.
So
I know how that goes.
I'm at that point, I'm just like, I don't want to look at it. I don't want to look at any of it. So maybe I just need to do like a giant giveaway in my group and be like,
just
all
take
right,
it.
we've got pile 1. Submit your funniest joke, and someone's getting this pile of.
That would be amazing.
I can't anymore, Sarah.
That's kind of how I feel, because like I have an excessive amount of paper, you know, like craft paper and scrapbooking paper, because I hoarded paper when I got a Cricut, but I never used the Cricut. Like I literally have used it maybe 4 times, but I have like an entire library worth of paper, and I'm just like, here, take this. Just take it. Just take it out of here. Like, what am I going to do with all of it? But I know the moment that it's gone, I'll be like, you know, I really wish I had a piece of green paper with fleur-de-lis on it. You know?
Right. That's the whole tricky thing with crafting, and also with beaders. It's like why we accumulate beads rather than like only having beads like we know we really, really like. Oh no, Sarah froze. She'll be back. I'll continue my point in a moment because I don't want her to miss it. Okay, I'm gonna catch them on comments.
I'm back.
I've been thinking a lot about like beads that like spark joy, like that beads that have like the Marie Kondo feeling to them.
Yeah.
Because sometimes though your older beads don't give you that feeling anymore, and they just feel like they're taking up space. But like,
yes,
either you don't have the energy to like go through them and like just take them out of your space, or like maybe there's like a little bit of fear of taking them out of your space, like that you maybe like you might need them.
Yeah.
Because like I just brought home a lot of my beads because I'm doing most of my personal beading at home now.
Yeah.
And I need to go through the containers first off, just to organize them better, but also like make sure I like want all the things in them still.
Yeah.
And like that's just like I think I'm holding onto as a theme for the next like month or so as I go through the office, but also my personal beads.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to explore this of like how do you figure out what beads are really like actually making you happy? Because like that's what the industry is like. We want joy from our crafting.
Yeah.
And like sometimes we like having things that we don't like anymore get in the way of that, I think.
Oh, 100%. And I have the same problem because of course, my bead inventory is nothing like yours, but I have everything sorted by colors. And a lot of times when I'm going to make kits, I'll pick a color box and I'm going through it, and I will pull out 50 packs of beads that just don't make me happy or inspire me. And I wonder, like, why am I keeping these around? What is it that's holding me back from replacing this spot with something that I really do love, you know? So if you find the magic to that, you let me know.
I don't think I'm going to find any magical answers, but I want to make it a conversation like over my group, and hopefully as we us like I want to like find better ways, like nice healthy ways to like approach this sort of thing, because I think it's like hard for a lot. I have a lot of hard time with it, like and not being overwhelmed by it, and like because I want to like feel like all sorts of joy, because there's a lot of beads and things and gems like bring me a lot of joy. Like I have my favorite like lab pendant that like makes me smile every time I put it on. And like
I was thinking about that pendant this morning, so I think I think that transcends just you. I think the rest of us are feeling the vibes from that as well.
I feel like I have to wear it now today, like
oh gosh. So guys,
that's on my mind. Sorry for the tangent.
No, I love it because it creates conversation here within this group that I think lots of people relate to and are having the same struggles with. So, you know, I think it's great to talk about the things that maybe we you know, we all struggle with, because I mean we do, you know. So on that same kind of sparking joy note, I just wanted to tell you, Sam, because I don't know if you go back and read the comments or not, but since our snack shenanigans yesterday, I've gotten so many comments and personal messages from people who said, you know what, I was going through something, XYZ, whatever it was, and you guys yesterday just really put a smile on my face, and you lifted my spirits, and you made me laugh, and you know, you changed my perspective on the day. And so No matter how you walked away from Snack Shenanigans yesterday, I think that even though it was just for fun and we're just silly, people out there appreciated it and loved it and enjoyed it. And in an odd way, we kind of touched people yesterday with our silliness. So I just wanted to share that with you.
Wow, that's amazing. I saw a post in your group with some of the screenshots, and like I read the comments like late last night. I was like, oh my God, I didn't know people actually liked this.
Yeah.
Like, how much they liked it. It was crazy to me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right. So we're actually here for a reason, guys. Sam's here from Sam's Bead Shop, and we've got Sam's Bead Box from February, and we're going to take a look at this. So I know a lot of people have already seen the bead box, opened the bead box, played with the bead box, made amazing pieces with it. But I'm always kind of the last because I like to see what everybody else is kind of doing and feel out like where they're struggling or where they're, maybe they need a little extra push with something. And I think that's what we're going to do today. So I know there are some orange beads that a lot of people have asked about. So maybe we'll do something fun with those. But in the meantime, let's go through these beads and talk about what's in here.
Okay, Sarah has the February Sam's Bead Box, which was like, I don't know, it felt different to me. I don't know if anyone else had this different feeling, but it was the first time, first off, we sent it in an actual box.
Yeah.
And that just like totally felt different to me. And I really, really liked it that way. I don't know if that connects you.
So tell us, other than the fact that it came in a box, which I agree. I think that was fantastic because it makes sense. I mean, it is a bead box and it comes in a box. That's wonderful. But now this was Rachel had a lot to do with this one, didn't she?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have to give her credit. She's been helping me in some form since last July, help with the boxes, starting with that Coastal Bound box.
Yeah.
And this one was totally her inspiration. She's like, there's so many cool colors at like sunrise, sunset, those like times of day. Can we explore that? And so we kind of dove right into like the beautiful gradient
of
it all, where you kind of get those like really vivid oranges, but then it goes directly flowing into these other like beautiful fuchsias, then into deep like blues and almost some purples, and then into black, which I think is gorgeous.
Yeah, it really is an absolutely gorgeous color palette. I mean, it really is. When I opened it, I was a little stumped at first until I did what I'm doing right now, where I laid them all out and kind of looked at how the beads were kind of talking to each other and how the theme, like really, like there are so many options you could do with this. Everything works cohesively together. Of course, the color palette is made that way. However, you could even break this down further and work with your warm tones or work with the cool tones, or do any number of things. And I feel like you guys kind of hit every single note in that dusk and dawn color. I mean, even pink is in here, which is, I mean, it's really beautiful. It's really, really a beautiful and inspiring box for
Thank you, Sarah. That's so sweet of you. Also, can I be smaller?
Can you be smaller? Yes, I guess. Okay, if you insist.
I always say on my lives, this is my preferred size.
Oh gosh. All right, so I mean, I didn't go through these individually because I'm just kind of letting everybody kind of look. But is there anything in particular you want to call out here? Because there's some really amazing stuff.
Sure. I mean, I love that you've grabbed that collection.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we did a whole collection of specialty check glass. So there's like 3 table cuts and that focal sun pen that you have there.
Yeah. Oh, those are so pretty. These are amazing. Just stunning.
Which ones you grabbed, the swallows or just the whole collection?
Just the whole collection, but these purple table cut, oh man.
I really like those. And I love tanzanite. I love stone tanzanite.
Yeah.
And so I love that glass was called tanzanite. And yeah, I kind of we put this all together as a collection because obviously there's like a big variance in check glass of kind of the amount of effort that can go into it.
Right.
These are some of the items in the box that have like the most, I consider like most like artisan quality.
Yeah.
Like something like that swallow design has to be like hand carved from a mold first.
Yeah.
To make that, and then it's really cool because they're table cutting it, and it really gives that nice like window glossy effect to it.
Yeah.
And so obviously those things are more expensive, but it's really important for me to be able to include really nice things in the box.
Yeah.
Like we include like a pair of this, thinking that could be earrings, maybe that could be another pair of earrings. This could be just so I want you to feel like you have some really nice materials to design around. Was our thinking there.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And you nailed it. Like immediately this speaks bracelet to me with the tanzanite on either side of the sun.
Yeah.
And I don't normally do like symmetrical designs or not. I kind of sometimes I struggle with symmetry. But I really feel like this just kind of called to me that each one of those needs to be
even a focal. I love that. I haven't seen that together as a focal. I really like that idea.
Yeah, it's really, really beautiful. These are awesome. And these are just super fabulous. I don't know. I don't know how you choose. I can't imagine what the amount of stress must be because there are so many beautiful options. Like how do you whittle it down to this one and this one when the choices are just I can't even imagine.
That's a great question. It's a lot of hours my sister and I sitting there and be like, okay, if we have this bead, are we gonna want that bead? Because we have to think of a lot about like balance of like sizes. So if you look at the oranges, this is a month I feel like we really got close to what our goal is, which is a nice variety of shapes and sizes.
Oh yeah.
And of course, mix of color tones and just things that are fun. But you need to have a balance in a design, I think, because you're going to want a bigger orange bead. You're going to want a smaller orange bead to complement it.
Right.
Not compete with it.
Right. And I love that. I think that it's important for everybody out there to know if you've never experienced a Sam's Bead Box before, if you've been on the fence and you've been thinking about it, understand that, and I say this about Danielle as well, you guys are coming at this from a designer standpoint. You really aren't just throwing your favorite beads in a box. Like there is more to it than just picking a color palette. You're looking at it from a design standpoint, just like you said, where you're trying to offer things where if you've got a large orange bead, you've got a smaller one to complement it and things like that, that I think get not necessarily overlooked in other bead boxes, but I don't think that people understand that like, you really are coming at it from a designer's point of view.
Sure. Oh, absolutely.
And try to make it so that we don't have to struggle with it. You know, you offer us all of the options. And this is a really good example. Like looking at all of the oranges here, there's a ton of shapes to choose from. They all work together. You know, but then you also can throw in the cobalt, which works with it. You can throw in the purple that works with. I mean, it's
right. And if you're saying a little less adventurous, you could grab something like there's some like Hishi, some like darker orange Hishis that I think like there's options. We try to put options that like feel a little less bold.
Yeah.
Should you want that to be? Should that be more of your style? Like, there's a lot of ways you can take. You can kind of think of this bead box as 3 smaller bead boxes, which or you can really like lean into the gradient. If you look at the item list, we put the items in the gradient order that we chose them. If you're kind of needing some inspiration, that's how like Danielle made a necklace on my class on Friday, and she followed the gradient.
Which is awesome. That was such a cool way to design.
Yeah, I never seen that before. I was like, oh, that's gorgeous. I love that.
Yeah. So you also include not just check and specialty check, but you guys always try to have gemstones as well, which I think is fantastic. These are gorgeous.
Oh, those are my favorite. I thought you might like those.
Yeah, I absolutely love them. Now, I struggle with orange, but carnelian is always the exception to that rule because I feel like carnelian looks good on every skin tone and everybody can pull it off.
It also pairs really nicely with a lot of other gemstones, I think.
Yeah.
Like very easily.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And then these are so cool. I got to take these out.
Yeah, this is the first time ever in Sam's Bead Box history we've had a strand of rubies, genuine rubies. And
So Ruby
even
is
Albert's
my
excited.
Ruby is my birthstone, and I get really excited about rubies. I really, really do. And
As you should. And that's one of those things that like I think should spark a lot of joy.
oh yeah, it most definitely. Most definitely. These are just gorgeous, and they're heat treated. And you said before that's pretty common, right? For
Yeah, there's
gemstones.
a lot of variety of types of rubies. With like the more opaque type, it's pretty much with opaque type rubies and sapphires, it's pretty much standard.
Yeah.
For heating, you don't really need to fear heating, I think is important to note, especially in pretty much any gemstone. I almost tend to prefer heat over like a dye treatment because heating changes the like literally the composition of the bead chemically.
Right.
It changes like literally how it refracts light, so that that means it'll last a lot longer in that color than maybe a dye would, and like a dyed agate.
Gosh, they're so pretty. They're just so beautiful.
Those are one of my favorites. I know it's like more classic, but like I just love a strand of chevron amethyst.
Me too. Me too. I really, really do. They just feel luxurious, and purple is just royal. No matter what you do with it, I think it just ups a design to a whole nother place. And it's definitely a color I struggle to work with, but I love it and I want to make it work. And if you can give it to me in amethyst, even more better. That was terrible.
What color did you say you struggle with?
I struggle with purples.
Oh no.
I do.
But... oh gosh, I have to tell you something.
What?
You know how we put a live on the books for like I think 2 weeks from today for you to design with some beads from the shop versus the box?
Yeah.
Rachel and I made the palette to send you yesterday.
Yeah, and it's purple.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna love it.
No, that's perfect. It's perfect because I do struggle with it. It pulls me out of my comfort zone, and there is no better way to become a better designer than to do that. You know, I mean, really. So I'm excited. I'm not scared about it at all. I think that's fantastic. So I can't wait to see what you guys picked out.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny.
It's gonna be awesome. It is.
I was like, I know Sarah loves teal. I know she loves orange red. I'm pretty sure purple's also on that list.
Oh, I love it as a color. I just struggle to design with it, but it's good to challenge yourself. These are just fiery wonderfulness.
Those are fun. My sister found those, and I thought those were a gem of a find.
Yeah, they're absolutely beautiful.
I think it's a two-tone glass. If like you hold it up, it has like a slight, like a yellowy orange and a darker orange.
Yeah.
And if you have the Sunburst box from May 2021, I think the same glass mix we had in Drooks in that box. So if someone's really on it, you could combine those and tag me, please, because I want to see, because that's very impressive.
Yeah. I love leaves. Always one of my favorites.
Do you prefer a leaf that's drilled across like that, or a drill that's on the top but in the center?
It doesn't make any difference to me whatsoever because I can make them work either way. I kind of like them when they're drilled like a briolette because it gives me the opportunity to do a little bit more wire than, if it's drilled top to bottom. But I do find that top to bottom is a lot easier for other people to work with. For me personally, I don't really have a preference. I think they're all wonderful. I love them all.
Sarah's loved all the leaf children.
All right, so I'm not going to go through all of these, but I do want to pick out the bead that I think has been the most talked about, at least from my perspective. Now, I could be wrong. But I feel like these babies right here, I feel like these are extra fabulous.
And extra unexpected. I've never seen this bead before.
So unexpected. And I gotta tell you, before I opened them, I expected them to be double drilled this direction.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I wonder if actually there's a version of that is that. There probably is. Oh, actually, that makes a lot of sense. I bet the original mold did have them drilled that way.
I think that they can be. I think that even though they're not drilled that way, though, I can make them. I think I can make that happen.
I think I see it too.
Yeah, I think I can make that happen regardless of the drill. And I want to play with these. I really, really do. These beads have been on my mind since I've opened this box, and there are so many possibilities, but we're going to play and see what we can do with these, because I want these to be the star of the show. I really, really do.
Okay. I'm excited to jump in with those, because I haven't used those yet, and I think I could use some inspiration too. I mean, I was just going to string mine because I just was like, ooh, cool shape, cool color.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm very curious to see what you're seeing with them.
So because they have that kind of wave effect to them, I want to stack them with that wave.
Ooh.
Like, and I'm feeling like a long necklace, right?
Yeah.
A long necklace with a very with a vertical focal.
Yeah, I see it.
And the only thing is how should it be, wire or should it be bead stringing wire? And I'm a wire person, obviously. But I didn't pull out any gold. Let me grab some gold wire.
Those wouldn't fit on a loom, would they?
Do what?
Those wouldn't fit on a loom, would they?
Oh, yeah, they would. Yeah, they would.
Okay. While Sarah's grabbing a couple things, I saw a few very fair questions about how the heck the bead box works that I can definitely go ahead and answer. So it's a monthly subscription box, so it renews automatically each month, but there's a button on your account page. You can always skip a month should you need to that month, or cancel anytime. It's just a month-to-month subscription, but it does, I think, offer a lot of value. We put about $72 value of beads in it. The box starting in March is $45 a month plus shipping, which is only $5 for US folks. And then for your first month, you can get $5 off. Thanks to Sarah with code Sarah, SARA. If you type that in, you'll get $5 off your first box.
And it's so worth it. So worth it.
I think it's a cool box. I think you should give it a shot.
Oh yeah.
But I'm biased.
Sure.
So fortunately, the holes on these is a really good size hole. So you can get wire through there more than once, which makes it easy to kind of ladder stitch these together.
Yeah. How did that happen so quickly? How did you do that?
So I put this one on the middle of a piece of wire, right? So that I have the same length of wire on either end. And then I just crisscrossed it within the next bead. And that's what I'm going to do with the next one. So the wire's going in from both directions.
Is this a seed beading technique?
It is, but it works for so many different other things. And what's cool about it is that you can do this with, like, I'm using some 24 gauge wire for this, but you could use your Fireline, your Wildfire. You could use bead stringing wire, which is, I'm kind of thinking maybe I should grab the bead stringing wire just because I feel like that might lay a little bit better.
Okay. I'm so fascinated by this.
But we're gonna try it with this first and then see what happens.
I don't think there's a live with Sarah that I haven't learned something from. I always
that's fantastic.
I feel like every time I watch you, I get like a new idea either of how to use wire in a new way, or in like just like a new way to like approach putting things together. And it's always very refreshing. And it's my hunch of why people really like watching you, Sarah.
I hope so. I hope that's my main goal. Like, obviously I want to educate everybody and you know, and help people build their confidence, but I also kind of want to show them how to think outside the box a lot, because
Mhm.
I don't want people to get stuck in a rut. That happens so easily. People
Mhm.
get burned out that way. And if you start to look at things from a different point of view, I think that it really kind of causes you to look back at other things and go, oh, I remember that design I made back 3 weeks ago. I could go back in and change, or I could do the same thing, but different, you know? And that's what makes jewelry making so much fun, is the possibilities that are there.
Oh, absolutely. It's like sometimes it's overwhelming, but sometimes it's like a magical feeling of realizing, like, I think it's why I haven't strayed from wire that much, is because the more you do it, the more I do it, the more I see that there's literally endless things. I will never be able to do every single thing that you can do with wire.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
kind of an amazing thought that, like,
Yeah.
you will never run out.
Now, the only issue I have with this is that the beads kind of want to travel a little bit.
Mhm.
They do want to kind of, you know, spin around. If they were drilled in the center, that wouldn't be an issue. But it really isn't necessarily a deal breaker for me, because once it's laying up against your body,
Right.
then it's kind of more stationary. Also, this would work in bracelet format as well,
Ooh.
which is also really cool. And another way to get those beads to kind of lay more stationary is
I
up
kind of
against.
like that they can turn almost like a blind.
Right. And you can also, like, you can use these little opportunities right here to add extra beads if you wanted to. So if you wanted to come in with some of the smaller beads and put those little small beads in those little spaces in between there, you could. The cobalt would be amazing.
Ooh.
Right there. You know, just pop a cobalt bead in between there if you wanted to. But if I were going to use it this way, what I would then do is I would come down to do some sort of wire wrap here, right? And then, but before we get too far into that, I do want to pull the bead stringing wire just to see the difference, because I can very easily redo this. So let me grab some bead stringing wire. And
I was also thinking about, when you first laid them out, of that herringbone bracelet you did in the hardwired group.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's how you kind of created bars of beads and then connected them. That was a great project. Check out Sarah's hardwired group, y'all.
Yeah, we have lots of fun there. Lots and lots of fun. All right, I'm going to trim this off of this because I have more wire. We can always go back to this. So with the bead stringing wire and with anything else, you're just going to do this the exact same way. It's just that it is a little bit softer, obviously. So I have some gold colored bead stringing wire, and I'm just going to thread that first bead on, and I'm going to bring it to the center. So I'm going to take the two ends, pull those close together. And then I'm going to lay this down just so that it's a little bit easier to hold on to. I'm going to take the next bead. So we're just going to treat it exactly the same way. One side of the wire is going to go in from one direction, and then the other side of the wire is going to go in from the other direction. And again, you treat this the same way as you would with the other wire. You can put beads in that in between if you want to, or not.
Oh, I love the supple look of the stringing wire.
Yeah, I do too. It's very soft. It makes it less rigid for sure. Gives it more of a kind of a fluid feel to it.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I totally see what you're saying about how there's also the great spaces for the little beads, should you want them.
Oh yeah. And I don't think there's anything wrong with combining your bead stringing wire and your hard wires. So for instance, if I put this together with my bead stringing wire, that doesn't keep me from adding wire to this, a harder wire to this.
Okay. At the same time.
Yeah. So to make it a pendant, just because I'm a weirdo, I would probably go back in to the top and the bottom with some hard wire to run through this hole and to run through. I'll show you.
Oh, as a little connection piece. That makes
right.
sense.
Let's see. So on the bottom though,
I thought you were about to do like double the work, and I was like, Sarah, relax.
No. But what shall we hang from the bottom? What shall we hang? I feel like.
Ooh.
I feel like that looks really pretty.
I think that's the main top shield bead in the box. What else could go there? Yeah, that's probably the best idea.
And of course, you could put beads in between these two as well. Like you could really go crazy with all of these things. I'm just kind of just giving everybody the little inspiration. And then you really just do whatever you want from that point, which is always kind of my goal. For my hardwired class today, we're doing a wire bracelet out of wire components. And I was talking with Kathy and Colleen yesterday about it. And I was like, should we add beads to it? What should I do? And they were like, no, just leave it, because that really kind of gives everybody the opportunity to express themselves. They can add their own beads to the design. I just give you the technique and the how-to, and then you can take it from there. And I love that. Okay, so there's something that I didn't do here, and I'm going to do it really quickly, but I do want to keep these leaves here. I'm going to unthread them really, really quickly, though, and I'm going to thread onto crimp beads.
Okay.
So let me undo.
I was curious how this was going to hold. I was like,
yeah.
I don't know the next step here. I'm so fascinated.
All right, so I'm going to take 2 crimps. If I had crimp, let's see, do I have crimp? All I have is tubes. I'm a tube person, but for this situation, I would actually prefer to have beads, just because they're a little bit smaller, but we're going to make it work with what I've got. So on each side of this, on each strand, I'm going to go ahead and thread on a crimp tube. That one is weird looking. Had a little snag of metal on the end of it. All right, so there's a crimp on that side. I'm going to do another crimp on the other side. Okay, now I'm going to rethread these beads. Okay, I'm going to take the wire on the other side, back through those in the other direction.
Sarah, when does enrollment open up again for the hardwires?
So the hardwire group open enrollment is usually the last week of the month into the first week of the new month. And it falls that way because, you know, months don't all end on a, you know, sometimes the month ends in the middle of a week. And so just to make things easier, we make it more flexible by opening it up.
Does that mean it opens like today or tomorrow, since we're in technically the last week of the month?
So let's see. What would Monday's date be?
Well, this is it's a really short month.
Oh, wait.
28th.
So Friday is the... You're going to have to do the calendar for me. What does that make Friday?
I got the calendar here. What do you need?
Okay, so I think Friday will be our first day of open enrollment.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So it's a shorter enrollment period this month, it looks like. It's 4 days, 25th through the 28th. All righty. So can folks go in like to the group now and like request to join, and then...
Yeah, absolutely. So you go to, by the way, I'm taking the wire through.
Sorry, I get
No, that's okay. No. So yeah, you can go ahead and request to be a part of the group. And when we open enrollment, you'll make sure you answer the group or the questions so that we can send you an invoice.
Okay.
Okay. So what I did, I'm going to hold this up in my hand. So I took the wire, I threaded it, one going this direction through these and one going this direction. And then I also went through the crimp on either side. So now I'm going to crimp this here and I'm going to crimp it here and then I'm going to trim off the excess wire.
I am obsessed with this.
Now, the only thing is before I commit to the crimp, I want to be sure that the spacing is exactly what I want it to be, because once it's crimped, there's no going back. So I'm going to lay it flat, kind of make sure everything's going the right way. That bead needed to be turned. Okay, I kind of pull here a little bit, there. Okay, now I'm going to come in with my crimper tool with it laying flat, just so that I don't change any of the. So I crimped, and I'm going to come over here and crimp. Now I can pick it up, and I'm going to put that crimp into the front notch of the crimper tool to tidy it up, and then the same on the other one. And you really, because this is not a clasp situation, you can kind of flatten those crimps. They don't have to be crimped perfectly perfect. That's the only time I'll ever say that technique is not, just because this is not there's not going to be a whole lot of movement in this little area. Mm-hmm. Now, you can go ahead and trim off the excess. And if you want to put a crimp cover over those, you can. I'm just going to leave them because the little crimps are just, they just look like a little bead.
I agree.
Right. So now the question is, well, what do you do? How do you attach it to anything? Because you don't have anything. So you can come back in with bead stringing wire, or you could have done kind of the same scenario here at the top if you wanted to. Or you can do what I said and mix your wires together. So I'm going to cut a piece of 22 gauge wire. And because I have a bead that has a nice size hole on it, I can also thread this wire through that bead, even though there is already bead stringing wire inside there. Just want to be careful, right? So now I have wire, and I can do anything. I can wire wrap it like a briolette. I can, it's really kind of, the world is your oyster. You can really do whatever you want to at this point, and add beads to it, or,
What are you feeling, Sarah?
So I don't know what yeah. Okay. So, and I'm going to leave that wire. I'm not going to add any beads to it. I'm going to find my pliers. That'd be a good start. So I'm going to take the two wires, crisscross them over the top of this top bead. And then I'm going to take one of the wires and bend it upwards, one of them this direction. And we're going to do a little wire wrap right here. It's kind of an awkward hold here, but
I believe in you.
I'm glad you do. All right, so messy little wire wrap right here, which you could do a clean one if you wanted to. Oh, that looks terrible. Well, sometimes my messy wraps get a little out of control. Let's undo part of that. Now the issue is that you can see the wire is kind of traveling around on me because it's not completely secure yet. So before I cut that off, I'm actually going to go ahead and drop this bead on. That's not even. We may have to do this again. So I'm very particular. Let's cut a new piece of wire. All right. This time, there's no seconds. There's no do-overs this time. All right. So, crisscrossing the wires.
Sarah, I have an idea.
Okay, what you got?
And you ignore it. You can totally ignore it. I'm wondering about like the shape of the piece of how it'll lay. What would it look like if we just create like wire wrap loops on either side of the top orange bead.
So do a wraps loop here and a wraps loop here?
Yeah. What do you think that would, what do you think of that?
I think that would work 110%. And then that way you can, okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Because now you got my gears turning. All right.
I saw the shape of like, I love like if that's the center focal hanging like directly from the center is like the most beautiful focal ever.
Yeah.
And now folks have seen two different ways to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's why I love these lives with you, because even if we don't create an entire piece, I've given like a pendant or an earring possibility or something that people then take and turn into something amazing. So they've seen a lot of different ways to do things.
There's a YouTube comment that says Sam looks like he's gazing at his crush.
Well, I mean, they are your bead babies, you know?
Oh my God, that's too funny.
Sam loves his beads.
Oh my God.
All right. Turn this on.
This is going to have a lot of cha-cha to it.
It is going to have a lot of cha-cha to it. It's kind of awkward with the bead stringing wire in there, but
How many wire loops do you think you make every year?
Oh my gosh, I can't. I would be. I wouldn't even want to know. But I'm guessing that if there was a world, a Guinness Book of World Records contest for that, I would probably be in a top runner for that. I'm just saying. Okay, so now we have it so that we have connection points on either side, which you can then build off of, right? If you wanted to, you can build out this direction with whatever you want to do, or you can continue with the triangle. If you really liked the triangle, you can do you can do two little wire sections. A section here and a section here with beady beautifulness, right? If you wanted to insist on hanging it that way, you just make like a little, it looks like a little house. But building out this way, I like that. So, ouch, what should we? I'm feeling like we need some more leaves and some color.
I was thinking like what would look. Oh, I love those hishis. I'm a little biased towards those hishis.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing.
Kathy says, no, Gail said, what's that wire? So what stringing wire did you use for the pendant?
So for the inside of the pendant, I used some 19 strand gold color bead stringing wire, and I used one that's pretty small. So it's a 0.38 millimeter. I picked that nice and small size because I knew it was going to go through these beads more than once. So yeah, made sure I had a nice thin wire to go through there.
And then is that like you usually use 20 or 22 for your?
Yeah. So for the hard wire part, I'm using German style wire and gold color, and I'm using 22 gauge.
Cool.
And anything that I'm doing with German style wire, you definitely can do with artistic wire. It doesn't have to be German style wire. German style wire just happens to be my go-to because I feel like it makes the best wrapped loops. But I do find that people have different luck. Some people prefer it. Some people prefer the other. So we're going to make a little beaded link here. We'll play around and see what looks good, because we don't have to commit to anything yet.
I love that you and Danielle have taken the beads in such different directions.
Yeah.
Which just goes to show like, because sometimes people are like, oh, it's all about the, I don't know. maybe that's just the cool part of the bead box, is because everyone has such different styles and approaches, and
oh yeah,
we get so many different results of the same exact beads, which I think it's very fun to watch.
I know, and I have a hard time like reminding myself of that, because like I watched Danielle and I watched her on Friday, and I watched the things that she made. Every time I watch her, I'm like, gosh, she is such an amazing designer. Like I am not nearly as good of a designer as she is, and I have to remind myself that we're just different.
Sorry, what was that last sentence you just said?
Yeah, that I'm just not as good as a designer as she is. But I have to remind myself that we're just different.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we're just different. We're just different.
I was gonna say, I was like, excuse me.
I do though. I'm just like everybody else. I have those moments where I'm like, I'm just not as good as they are. I'm not as good as Sam. Sam is such a better stringer. Sam is such a better wire worker. I mean, everybody goes through those things, It doesn't matter how long you've been in this business or how long you've been making jewelry. You're always your worst enemy,
This is true. This piece I do very much agree with. Nicole asked how long the box is available for purchase. So it's a subscription box, so you can subscribe at any time. So if, say, you were to subscribe now, your first box would be the March box, which happens to be our anniversary box coming up. So it's one you're probably not going to want to miss. And let's see. And then we do always sell the extra boxes as well, and they're available as long as they're in stock, basically. We only assemble so many boxes each month. So if you wanted a February box, which we've had a lot of requests, an unusual number of requests for the extra boxes, Jesse's here in the comments. You can message him, or you could message the Sam's Bead Shop page, and he can put one into your cart. I think I actually went ahead and published it to the website also. If you go to new items, you can see that you can purchase the extra February box. We have like a dozen left, I think, and that's it. What are you giggling about?
Jesse's comment.
Which one? I'm going back.
He said, well, what is that supposed to mean?
What did I say?
I don't even know what he was saying.
There's been commentary about Jesse. Jesse was saying, "Oh no, I'm the quieter one." And he said, "I'm not a very loud person." And I was gonna 100% disagree, because yesterday he got very passionate about the shelving and how we should lay out the shelving. And I was like, I don't think you're a quiet one.
He's passionate about the shelving. That's serious business.
Danielle, Jesse's also an amazing knotter. He does like these really intricate square knot designs.
Yeah.
But he'll just keep on adding rows and rows. It's pretty phenomenal. One day where I'm sure we'll get some Jesse knot fun.
Yes. Stuff. Yes. So I don't know what beady little links anybody wants to make, but I think those are cute.
Very cute.
I think those are cute. And you could stick things in between them if you wanted to, right? You could put pops of color in there.
That's literally what I was exactly thinking, Sarah.
Yeah, you could put anything in there that you wanted to put. And you could just continue to build outwards. Let's see, what are some other options here? Let's just look. So if we didn't do those, we could potentially do those.
Ooh, a little bit of extra texture.
Yeah. I mean,
on a mission to get folks not scared of daggers anymore.
Yeah, daggers are fantastic. They're so versatile. So many things you can do with them. What else could we do? Let's see. I'm obsessed with these. That color right now is just, oh, love. Hold on. Let's see. Where's the other ones? These. I love these. These little nuggets. These are awesome. Let's see. Hold on. I was scrolling back to look at comments for a second.
Oh, I totally forgot to say the timeline. You have until March 9th to subscribe if you want to get the March anniversary box, our very special anniversary box.
I cannot wait for that. I'm so excited.
I'm going to spoil a little bit of our plans. We're going to do a special bead challenge with the March box. And I think I've convinced Sarah and Danielle to join. I think Rachel Malice potentially. And my last person I need to bring into the fold is Nile. I want you four, and I'm going to give y'all like an hour. And I'm hoping maybe even like not having even seen the box prior.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to make it awesome. No peeks, no peeking ahead.
I think it's time for a little heated competition.
Oh, it's going to be so fun.
Sandy, okay. Sandy, I think Jesse can probably answer that question. Okay, cool.
There are so many options to work with in the box. I think that's what makes obviously the value is there because of the amount of beads, but really when I kind of quantify value, I'm looking more at like what the possibilities are, not just necessarily the price on something. And I think that's what makes your boxes just top of the game when it comes to boxes, because the possibilities, you've got so many bead choices here. I could make literally 15, 20, maybe even more pieces of jewelry depending on what those pieces were.
And yeah, I think absolutely. We've tried to include decent quantities of each thing so it can last for a few projects.
Yeah. And because everything goes together, not just the color palette, but because the beads themselves go together, your options are, they're immeasurable, the amount of options. You could put a number to it, but I don't number. So, there's just a lot of possibilities, because we just showed like where you put a dagger, you could change it out for a nugget, or you could change it out for a beautiful piece of amethyst, and it all works, you know?
Or like grab the carnelian strand.
Ooh.
I just had an idea that like, what if like that, I just totally saw the carnelian strand laying next to your beautiful focal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ooh, what if it was a double layer? So what if it was a double strand and you draped a row of the carnelian?
That carnelian matches your pendants so beautifully.
Like, how pretty would that be? Like a double strand necklace.
Love it.
Yeah. It's so avant-garde, right? It's so different.
It is definitely very Sarah. I was like, you always can expect something unexpected.
Yeah, I'm the crazy designer lady. I'm always coming up with the most random things, and it's like I don't know what's going to happen, and sometimes that's a good thing, and other times things go completely off the rails and it's not a good thing. But I do love it when there's happy accidents, that's for sure.
We're gonna get the full trifecta using the bead box, because Nile is joining the shop on Friday, and his challenge is to use his new pipe chain.
Oh wow!
Using the February box. And he could use he also has some ideas of the January box too, but I'll let him do whatever he wants. But this will be so interesting to see. Have all three of you, Danielle and Nile, all are gonna with each see what your approach to the box is.
Right.
I don't think we've ever had all three.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what he comes up with. I cannot wait. It's going to be awesome, whatever it is, because he's amazing. All right, so that's my contribution. It's not attached,
I love
it. But there it is.
And would you probably attach these with jump rings, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, so I would probably do just like the tiniest jump rings possible. So maybe like a 3mm or a 4mm in between here, just to keep the space nice and close. And then I would probably do bead stringing wire for my carnelian and bring them together, or do the entire strand of carnelian and maybe make it a true double strand with chain for the length of this piece so that it does hang. It is an actual 2-layer necklace, which I don't normally do. But a little hint for Friday's Feel Good Friday show, I'm actually doing an actual 2-layer necklace where it could be 2 necklaces, because I never do that. So
oh my God, wait, when do those kits go on sale?
Those are Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern time.
Oh, mark your calendars. Those sound like those are gonna go fast.
I hope so. Got some really pretty kits coming up for this week.
You work so hard on your kits, Sarah. Like I could put one bead box together each month, and I have help. And you put kits together every week with designs in mind. I literally don't know how you do it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to turn you around, or I'm going to turn myself around real quick. So, fortunately, this week I had some help, and when I have help, that makes things a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
So yesterday, Colleen and Kathy, of course, were here for Snack Shenanigans, but we were also working on kits. They helped with. I've got a kit coming out with Nile next month, and then for my kits for Friday, like they helped me get those together. And it's very, very stressful because like, that's how I pay my bills. Right? Mm-hmm. And if I don't make kits, then I don't make money, you know? And so sometimes that pressure really, really gets to me. And I feel like some weeks are better than others as far as like my ideas but I try to keep things as new as I possibly can. But now, like if I see something that works, like a certain style of something, I'll do that kit over and over again, just in different colors. Because people there are some classics. You just can't stray from the classics, you know?
I mean, you have some great designs, so absolutely.
Yeah. So...
Well, that's exciting. So that's Friday. Is that your next live in the?
Yeah. So the next live for me, Hardwired, is at 4:30 p.m. Eastern today for all of the Hardwires. But then Friday, I was trying to think if there was anything else in between there. There's not. So we have Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern is my Feel Good Friday show, where I do super easy instant gratification jewelry with all the kits that you can buy to recreate those pieces. Or just a lot of inspiration, which is good. Because I don't like to send everybody into the weekend with like a super hard technique that they need to, you know, like I want them to go into the weekend inspired and feeling like I'm going to make something beautiful, and it doesn't have to be hard. So,
yeah. Oh, I love simple jewelry. That's like that was my obsession when I first started making jewelry. I was like, you can make beautiful things. You don't need a lot of, things. You need some headbands and some beads.
Exactly.
You'll be happy.
Yeah. And when you have boxes like this, the hard part's done.
Mm-hmm.
You just sit down and get zen with it, right? You've done all of the hard part for all of us.
Mm-hmm. We
just get to sit down and play. And that's
fun.
I'm all about that.
Oh, are you more of orange or red is your color? Which one do you gravitate more towards?
So I'm definitely a red person, but I am very much drawn to red oranges. Like, you know, I like my reds to be true, like fiery reds, not like blue red, you know?
Yeah. Blue red.
So blue red would be like magenta red, you know, like where it has that blue purple kind of undertone to it.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And so I just have to hold up to your hair, and then I'll get a sense of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know, it's funny because like in this house, like everything matches my hair. It's really ridiculous. Everything in my house is black and white and red.
So you just camouflage as you walk around your house.
I do have like a red room in this house where it used to be my office downstairs. And now I'm thinking about my new house, and I'm like, okay, which room am I going to paint red? Because I have to have a red. I just have to have a red room.
Right. Like, I don't know. It's almost like you can't have your live/beading room be your red room, because we wouldn't see you.
Exactly. Well, and the red doesn't necessarily work with all the colors. So I got to keep it neutral.
You got your chief sign. You've got some good reds behind you.
I got my Jessica Rabbit back there. So.
Also, I love the glass heads. There's so much great stuff. I always love your whole set.
Thank you.
I'm sorry our team didn't win.
Yeah. Well, there's always next year.
My whole family, for some reason, we live in California. We all support the Chiefs because my mom grew up over there.
Yeah.
And so the family was devastated when they didn't even make it.
Yeah, that was rough. And what made it even worse is that my son's team is the Bengals.
Okay.
Like, so it was fierce in my house for a little bit there. There was a lot of trash talking going on.
That's cute.
All right, Sam, thank you again for another fabulous live. I love it when you come to visit. It's so much fun, and I love designing and just hanging out with you. So I appreciate it so much.
Thank you for having me on. This is always a pleasure. I always feel so bubbly and warm after this.
I do too.
You.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us as well. And I look forward to seeing everybody on Friday. Sam, give everybody the rundown of the rest of your week.
Yeah, I got 3 events. We do 2 live sales each week. So Tuesday, Thursday. I think we're going to do another batch of our check closeouts today. Because one of my check suppliers is closing the warehouse. And I've been buying as much as I can.
Oh, wow.
And so we've been getting up to like 50, 60% off some of the beads. And I just pass on the savings. And then Thursday is our bead box live. So we'll have all the extras if you want to purchase individual extras from the February box.
Right.
I also, there's that tiara cast component in this box. I think it's from their Caravan collection, potentially, the temple clasp.
Yes.
So I went and picked out a bunch of things from that collection, and that'll also come on Thursday.
I'll be there.
So lots of fun things. And then Friday is our class day, and that's Nile. So it's a great week.
Yeah, that's an exciting week, guys. Set your reminders and be there for all of the fun that is happening this week, because you don't want to miss any of that.
We've got I can't comment from StreamYard. That's so silly. But if you go to joinsamsbeadshop.com, not samsbeadshop.com, joinsamsbeadshop.com, that's where you can join the email and text list, and then you'll never miss a beat. You can always know when Sarah and I are doing things, you'll know everything.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you for having me on, Sarah. This was so much fun.
Thank you, everybody out there. We will see you guys again soon. Everybody have a great afternoon, okay? Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.